One of the most pristine settings in all of sports. In the shadows of the San Gabriels, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, it will come alive when the powder blue-clad fans start the 8-clap and UCLA ready to roll. Today, a Big Ten clash, and you know when you square off against a conference opponent, the blood boils a little hotter. As we'll see, the Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on the UCLA Bruins. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollock, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. And the Huskers will boot it away to start the game. On the run from inside his own 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. So the UCLA Bruins offense will get the first crack at it here. What a great group of receivers they run out there, and a staunch, stout defense they'll be running into. Jesse, how are they going to get open? How does this defense keep them in check?
Well, I think one thing this receiving group knows to have success in this game against this defense is it's going to take all of them. It's not just going to be one guy making all the plays. They're all going to have to be able to step up and, David, take advantage of their own individual one-on-one opportunities when those chances come their way.
Well, and I think that's what's good about this offense. Their strength in numbers. It's not just one guy that you can take away. There's several receivers that can make plays. That stresses a defense. Like, find the weakness, go after him. That guy can win. So it'll be a fun individual matchup.
With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. Looking to pass. It's Iamaleava. Grabs it in the middle. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain.
And quarterback dropping back, understanding I'm getting zone coverage. All I got to do is be a little bit patient, manipulate that defense a little bit. My wide receiver runs that drag, and I get the first down.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. Back to pass. Finds his tight end. Brought down at the 46, but he got 10 on the play.
It's important on offense to get the tight ends involved in the passing game. These are big fellas that can run. And this guy's a big target, so nice job on that play.
And the Bruins come to the line with a new set of downs. Wants to go up top on first down. Got a man. It's Thomas. They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a first down.
You know, it's a nice throw by the QB there. When you're throwing to running backs, you got to make it easy on them. So you want to put it right on their body, make the catch simple, and let them go to work like they did just there, getting that first.
Now on first down from the 40. Wants to throw on first down. Quickly to the tight end.
Yeah, and tight ends aren't just line up and block guys. These guys are athletes. You line them up all over the field. And nowadays, you can start to feature them more and more in the passing game.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Now the play fake. And he really needed to hold on to that one, but it was knocked loose, and third down is coming.
Well, the quarterback knew he wanted to go to his tight end on that play. He's a big physical target, but it was the hit on the play that forced the incompletion.
They couldn't make the connection on second down. Now a 3rd and 7 to keep the drive alive. Back to throw. It's Iamaleava. Gets it out fast. They've got enough for the first down. They're in the red zone at the 20.
I think as a play caller, you'd love to see your guys getting into a rhythm early in the game, right? Third down, you dial up the slant. It's a good route, a good throw. This offense is off to a nice start.
They're down to the 20, 1st and 10. Trying to run, it's Thomas. Getting work done on the ground. He's pulled down at the 14-yard line. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. They'll go to work in the air on second down. Snags it over the middle. Defense is there to make the stop, but he's got the first down, and they'll have it first and goal at the 6.
And I love when you understand when I'm supposed to put some RPMs on that football. You could tell he's thrown over the middle of the field. He knows he's got defenders there. I got to throw this thing in there quick, fast, in a hurry. Nice job by the quarterback.
A first down run in the red zone. Looking for the end zone. And he rolls into the house. Touchdown, UCLA!
You love as a head coach to watch your offense take the field and establish a rhythm and consistency the way they did there. Everything they dialed up was working to perfection. They go 10 plays on the opening drive and cap it off with a touchdown.
Setting up for the extra point after the first score of the game. And the PAT makes it 7-0. They marched 79 yards on the drive, and he got into the house from the 6 to finish it. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Cornhuskers offense taking the field. First chance we have to see them today. And, David, we've got a quarterback today who's been known for making enough plays when his team needs it.
Yeah, and listen, he's a guy that this offense is built around him. But, Jesse, he's not the guy that's going to take over. He needs the running game to get going. He needs the passing game. He needs a little bit of balance. Really good football player, but he needs the help of the quality teammates around him.
Yeah, you're right. I think the one thing we've seen with this guy is he's got to get into a rhythm in games early, right? And so whether it's running the football or getting a few completions early to get his confidence going, because once that happens, he's very, very good.
That's the way to open a drive. Now they'll put it in play just shy of midfield. From the gun, running back gets to give. Got the first down and more. They'll stop him at the 41, but he's got 10 yards, and they'll move the chains.
That's a great-looking run there. Nebraska has had such a great lineage at running back. When you think back to the great Roger Craig or Amon Green, Lawrence Phillips, Rex Burkhead, they always seem to be pumping somebody up into the NFL. This guy has a chance to play on Sunday because of his skills.
Throws toward the end zone. Touchdown, Cornhuskers! They took a shot to the end zone and found 6 points waiting on them.
And, man, is that perfect timing. You could tell quarterback drops back. He sees his guy, and he knows he's open. But watch the throw. Deep down the field, Palmer, right in the breadbasket. Nice play, nice pitch and catch.
He did a nice job at getting it up in the air early and allowing his guy to run under the football, locate it, and then make a tough grab. That is the definition of an explosive play.
And let's hold on just a minute here as the officials are going to have a second look. And the play will stand after the replay booth just does a little double checking to make sure. And the extra point was good to finish things off. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And the final 41 yards covered by that touchdown strike. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. He'll start the return inside his 5. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. UCLA will go back to work on offense. RPO complete to open the drive.
During the week, you got to talk to your quarterback. Quarterback, what do you like? What's your favorite, safest routes, easiest reads? Love coming out with those early with the short passing game.
The Bruins with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Back to throw, it's Iamaleava using the back as a receiver on the screen. And that one looked great on the grease board, but when they blow it up like that, the defense is going to win every time. Ball spotted at the 29. Here they come on 3rd and short. From the gun, wants to pass. Under fire. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. Defense trying to take it back. Touchdown, Huskers. The defense putting points on the board.
It's really hard as a quarterback because you got your eyes downfield. You're trying to find an open guy. You're trying to negotiate the rush, and all of a sudden people are swatting at the ball. They hit you. They knock it out. Got to do a better job next time of keeping 2 hands on the ball so you don't get it scooped and scored like what happened right there.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. The scoop and score. What a lift it can give to the defense. Not content to get the ball. They wanted to do something with it, and they did. Here he comes from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. A little bit backed up to start this drive from their own 18-yard line. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
They're trying to run the football. There's just nowhere to go for the ball carrier inside. He tried to bounce it to the outside. That linebacker way too fast. He met him there and forced the TFL.
After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Trying play action. And it'll be incomplete. This is some physical pass defense.
Well, this offense has gone his way early and often in this game. They've gotten into a nice rhythm. That time, though, the defense was expecting the throw going his way, and they put a really nice hit on him to force the incompletion.
You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. Looking to throw, it's Iamaleava. The screen, he can go. Out across the 25 to the 26, but needed a little bit more. It'll be 4th down.
One of the things I love about this defense is they just have such great awareness, and they're always communicating. They understood the down and distance. They knew exactly what they needed to do to make the tackle to force the punt. That is so well done.
And the Bruins will punt this one away. They'll boot it into the night sky for the first time. On the move, looking for a little sliver of hope. He couldn't find much running room there. Didn't get a lot of blocking, and he'll step out of bounds. First snap of this drive comes from their own 44. Starts a drive trying to go up top. Unloads to the wideout. Finds a man in the middle. He gets it to the 31-yard line. A big play for this offense. It was quite a burden for Dylan Raiola a year ago, viewed as the Nebraska football savior. So, Jesse, how should he approach growth and improvement in his sophomore season?
Well, I think you got to continue to grow. There were a lot of eyes on Dylan Raiola last year, and for good reason. He is unbelievably talented, but you saw the swagger that he brings to the offense and that X factor and demeanor he really brings to the team. They believe in him. They were able to win a lot of close games a season ago. I think it's not about resting on your laurels. It's about taking the next step to try and be better.
And they've swapped ends of the field, and we'll get it going in the second. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. The give to the back. Wrestled down at the 26. It's a gain of 4. They're close enough for a makeable field goal from the 26, but they'd love to convert this 3rd and long. Dropping back, it's Raiola. Catch in the middle, it's Barney. Got enough to move the sticks. First down from the 17.
How about this offense? They're rolling. They got a couple first downs together. Defense, Next, what's your response? What do you got? You got to make some adjustments here.
The Huskers are moving quickly down the field. Quick pass on the fly motion. The defense wouldn't let him loose, and even though it's a completion, they lost yardage.
Got to give the defense credit. Watching film, anticipating. They knew that this offense had this play in their back pocket. They knew about the speed of this wide receiver and different ways they were going to try to get him involved. Everybody on defense on the same page, playing together. I love it.
Second down, they'll go to the air. He's got it on the move. Touchdown, Nebraska! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house. Look, it's still early, but we have some real distance being put on the scoreboard right now.
You do. It's early, but you got to find something positive. Right now, everything going in the other direction. So how are you going to respond when you've been hit in the mouth early in this football game? Got to find something positive quick.
Getting set for the point after. And the extra point puts them on top 21-7. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. And the capper, a 19-yard toss for the touchdown. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he takes this from inside the 5. And the returner runs out of real estate as he goes down. The UCLA offense is back on the field, ready to go to work. This is when the pressure can ramp up a little bit on an offense, David, when they start feeling the heat to end. Oh, he's got some space. Danced his way through traffic, pick up a 4 to the 19.
And that's a really nice play. It's impressive. When it's first down and the defense thinks you might be running the football, you still can line up. You can get some movement at the point of attack and find a little crease for your running back.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. They'll ride the running back and leave it with him. Finds a little bit of space, gets 3 to the 22.
And that run really didn't go anywhere. And a lot of times we don't focus on it enough. But how important those 5 guys are up front. To get on those defensive linemen, to try to move them out of the way, to get a run game going, it squarely falls on the shoulder of those 5 offensive linemen.
Back to pass, it's Iamaleava. Here's the pressure. Grabbed in the middle, it's Berger. Really nice job to get him past the sticks, pick up the first down at the 30.
Well, in that down and distance, the quarterback's got to get rid of it so quickly, right? He knows the defense is going to be bearing down on him, so a nice job catching the gun snap and then turning and pivoting, getting it out of his hands quickly and accurately to pick up the first.
The Bruins come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Quick strike complete. A 7-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 3. There's not a lot more beautiful in football than the play action and the open tight end.
Yeah, because it freezes those linebackers. It freezes those safeties because they have to come up for a second and play the run. And then the big tight ends, big targets on the back end can catch the football and make big plays.
Going to sling it on 2nd down. Hauls it in. They've got it to the 49-yard line, and they'll move the chains. Sometimes you have to put it in a tight window, and sometimes the window is gargantuan, and it was there.
Yeah, that was one of them big old huge windows. And I tell you what, when you throw over the middle of the field, a lot of times quarterbacks are a little bit hesitant. When you're that open, it's easy to pull the trigger, easy to make the decision, make the read, get the ball to your receiver.
Looking to the big tight end. On target over the middle. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the first down.
Well, that play-action fake just froze the defense for a split second. That allowed the tight end time to work his route, get vertical down the field, and pick up a big gainer for the offense.
Offense has it at the 28 on first down. Rides the back and leaves it. Knocked down after a gain of 1 to the 27.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
After picking up a couple, it's 2nd and 8. Throws to the wideout. Got a man in the middle. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab.
Man, it's so important when you play QB. I got to know when to put some air on it, and I got to know when to rocket that thing in there. Work in the middle of the field. He knew he needed the rocket, threw it in there. Great job, great catch.
We've reached the 2-minute timeout, and a score on this drive would do wonders for their confidence. And the Bruins started this drive backed up in their own end, and now they've moved into position to score. To throw, it's Iamaleava. Rushes on him. Nowhere to go, and the ball is loose. Defense falls on the ball. Going to be a turnover. And maybe this guy was hoping somebody would bail him out, like a tuck rule or something.
Not going to be so lucky this time around. Give the defense credit. This pass rush is serious. It's real. And this quarterback is now going to have to play with a clock in his head that's going off just a little bit quicker. He's got to do a better job understanding when to get rid of it.
Plenty of time to work, not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Looking to throw on 1st down. Grabbed over the middle. It's Barney. And he broke one tackle on the way to a solid pickup there.
This slot receiver is a guy the defense has to be careful of. He runs good routes. He's got some speed. And if you're not careful, this guy can gash you.
The Cornhuskers with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Looking to fire. Got it in the middle. It's Key. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the 1st down.
When these wide receivers work the middle of the field, so much of this is feel. Understanding where the holes are in the zone or understanding how to get leverage on a man. And these wide receivers are dangerous nowadays because they do it so fast and see that so quick and make those plays over the middle.
They try to get it outside on the left. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
How about that defense in the backfield? Nowhere to go right away. You could tell they were playing the run game all the way, and they got in the backfield and got the tackle for a loss.
And the Huskers trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. He's got the tight end. The offense will have to use its 1st timeout of the half. You know, David, this is really what game managing is. Nice pickup on 2nd down to help them on the next play.
Yeah, I think people look at that negative sometimes, finding a quarterback that's a game manager. No, use your brain. Set up good situations. I'm way more successful when I can keep those sticks at a more manageable situation, and I'm not as predictable on a 3rd down.
And it's on 3rd downs like this. If you want to attack the middle of the field, you got to look for the tight end. Really nice route. Great job looking that football in. You can tell this quarterback really has a lot of confidence when he's in the pocket looking for the big fella, and they're able to hook up there.
Just feeding his pads to the defense as he gets it to the 36. The offense will stop the clock and use one of its timeouts. The Huskers in a good spot here with 2nd and short. Might as well stick with him. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
You got to be impressed by what you've seen by this offense so far in this game. In the 1st half, they've got a nice lead, and they've been able to do it with explosive plays, but they've also been able to do it with efficiency and getting 1st downs and staying on the field. And you saw another great example right there running the football. Anything they want to do right now is working.
Works the middle. And he's brought down after a nice game. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays. And the field goal unit is on the field. He'll line it up from 34 yards out. Right down the boulevard. It's good. and they'll push that lead out a little further.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
On the move from inside his 5. They make the stop on the return, and that is priority one. You don't want some big return to give up a cheap touchdown on the final play of the half. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, looks like we've had a compelling start to things there in Pasadena. And there's no more fitting place to begin than with this stud receiver and how he's dominated the first half. Some guys have the ability to elude and evade. This young man is a true 3-level threat. Short passes, the intermediate game, and then the deep ball. He is a problem, and I don't think this defense has the solution. With that said, let's send it back to the guys at the Rose Bowl.
The Bruins will line up to kick off and start the second half. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. And here comes the Nebraska offense back onto the field. First play from scrimmage, and they'll keep it on the ground. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Man, not much wiggle room for the ball carrier there.
I'm not really sure what they can do to try to create some space.
I know. Block better. How about the offensive lineman push some guy backwards and make some holes?
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. They go to the ground. What a nice job by the defense to string it out, not give him any kind of alley, and knock him down for a loss.
Man, when you go into the half and you're down, like that speech is usually pretty fiery. A lot of words you can't use on television. And so this coaching staff probably challenged their guys, and I like the way they started this second half so far. Physically, flying around, doing a great job stopping the run. They got to play like this the rest of the game.
The short hands, it's Barney. At the 35, he's open. He'll have enough to move the chains. It's first down at the 38.
One of the things I love about this wide receiver, it's not all bombs and posts and go routes. 3rd and long, you just kind of run him not too far down the field. He makes the catch, and he's so dangerous, making moves, using his speed and elusiveness. He finds a way to get that first down and keep the offense on the field.
The Cornhuskers with the 1st and 10. From the shotgun, they'll run it. Turning it on. Picks up the first down. He stopped at the 49 after gaining 10.
This is going to be a big key for him, David, with the lead here in the second half, running the football, right? Staying on the field and bleeding the clock.
Yeah, run the football. You're ahead. You can be a little bit more conservative. But again, this opens up the pass. This keeps everything in balance for this offense.
Wide receiver comes in motion. To the air, it's Raiola. Throws for the tight end. Got his man downfield. And he'll be forced out of bounds, but not before yet another big play in this passing attack.
To be honest, I think the quarterback was a little bit surprised himself at the play call that came in that time. You've got a 3-possession lead here in the 3rd quarter of this game. You're probably expecting some short throws, some runs. And this play caller is still asking for shot plays. And listen, you're the quarterback. You're happy to oblige. When you've got the playmakers you have offensively, just keep chucking it.
He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Great job by the defense. Everybody firing off the ball, hitting their guys, holding their gaps, running to the football, nowhere to go.
Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Wants to go up top. Fires to the wideout. Got it in the middle. It's Barney. He's there to make the stop, but not before. He sets up this offense 1st and goal from the 7.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This offense had so much success in that first half, so in the third quarter, they come out, and the quarterback looks like he's still dealing. This has been a really nice drive. That was a really nice throw. Just keep doing what you're doing if you're on offense.
With the run on 1st and goal. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Great team defense on that run play. Everybody doing their job. People winning their one-on-ones, D linemen staying in their gaps, linebackers and DBs filling. You just can't do it better.
Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Off the play fake. Gets it out quickly. And this one will be stopped for no gain. That toss to the fullback fooled no one, at least no one who is on defense.
And those are the plays, Reese, that you need to fool somebody. That's not a guy you give the football to very often. This is a little trickeration, a little by design. Give him the football. Hopefully nobody pays attention to him, but the defense was ready and made the play.
He'll throw it. Trying to bull his way in. He found some running room, but needed just a few inches more to put it in the end zone. And after that short completion, what will they do now? Just a few inches to go.
Yeah, and you wanted to get the ball out quick, and you wanted your receiver to make the play for you and get the first down. You don't. Now, decision time, 4th and short.
And here comes the field goal unit for the 2nd time tonight. That thing would have hit a string in the middle of the uprights. Perfect. And that will extend their lead even further.
Well, you're always going to wonder what woulda, coulda, shoulda happened on 4th and inches had they gone for it. But with this kicker, I like taking 3 points and putting it on the board.
They keep pushing that lead out, and the kickoff team's getting some work. On the run from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Scanning the field, it's Iamaleava. Just a hair too much on it from this big-armed sophomore quarterback.
Well, you can see the mindset of this offense changing quickly. We're in the late in the 3rd quarter. They're down on the scoreboard. They've got to get aggressive, and they've got to throw the ball if they want a chance to win this game. But the defense knows it. It's going to be really hard for this quarterback now. The windows are going to be small like it was that time throwing the incompletion.
They'll run play action. He puts a lot of air under it down the sideline. He finally goes out of bounds after the explosive play, but now the question is, did the official see something to bring it back? And the offense didn't need to accept the penalty thanks to that big play. A costly penalty for this defense gives them a 1st and 10. They'll give it to the back. Runs through a tackle and runs through another guy. And he used that patented spin move to pick up a few extra yards.
You want to make play calling easy for an offensive coordinator? Run the ball like that every play. I mean, when you can run that on 1st down and set up a short yardage on 2nd down, it makes play calling easy. Every single call on that sheet is available here on 2nd down.
Bolton fires to the left. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a 1st down. And the Bruins have this offense rolling. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. He's got an open man. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
Nice patience by the quarterback. He had his receiver running a crossing route, but the QB knew it was zone coverage, so he's got to be careful and make sure that he hits him in a window, and he did that right there.
The Bruins will snap it on 1st and 10. Quick completion to the right. They'll get it down to the 10-yard line on that completion.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly. That's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
Going to work on second down in the red zone. Is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. The RPO, fire complete to the left. They make the tackle, but he's got a fresh set of downs, and it's first and goal from the 7.
First and goal, UCLA.
We've been treated to an aerial show by these two guys so far as you check out their numbers. Just about ready to go in the 4th, and we'll see if any drama can be mustered. They'll try to open the quarter by cashing in on this big opportunity deep in the red zone. Wants to throw it. Flips it out on the screen. He's going for the goal line. And he motors into the end zone. Touchdown, Bruins! He'll try to tack on one more. Splits the uprights. So a drive there of 84 yards, and they close the deal with the 7-yarder for the score. Kickoff unit is out there again, and this crowd is feeling themselves after that last drive. He'll bring it out. It's Barney. Stopped at the 17, and he's probably second-guessing that return. The Cornhuskers ready to go back to work on offense. So last time, David, they ate up some clock, ran a bunch of plays, but settled for the field goal.
Yeah, but they're still up, Reese, and I like where I'm at. And if I'm on offense right now, my job is to put another long drive together, eat more clock, and get another score.
Just got to be better in the red zone this time around. If they get down close to the goal line, you need better execution to put a touchdown on the board here. Well, it's important in this game this offense gets the running back involved out on the perimeter in space where he can do some damage. That time they got it to him throwing the football. He picked up a couple of yards, but it gives the defense something to think about.
Got the completion on the last play. Still some work to do on second down. Past the first down marker and still running. Building momentum, picking up a chunk of yardage, moving the chains out to the 34.
It's a point in the game, I think, as a coaching staff where you really challenge your offensive line to go win the football game, right? We've got to lead late. We're going to run the football, and the defense and everybody in the stadium knows that's what's going to happen. Can we run the ball down their throats and impose our will? That's what this offense right now is trying to do.
Fires to the tight end.
You see a lot of offenses late in the football game with a lead get conservative. I like they didn't. Like, they trusted the passing game. You're going to get looks that you know what they are. Defense has to be aggressive. You know, they have to be aggressive because they're down. They've got to get to the quarterback. They've got to get stops. Nice job throwing the football there.
And the Huskers can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Short gain on the play before he slides.
Yeah, it's a nice job by this defense understanding, listen, that QB is a threat, and they're going to run all kinds of options, and he's going to run the football. They were dialed in and got that sucker to the ground.
The Huskers are facing 3rd and inches. He'll keep it on the sneak. Got enough for the first.
And, David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively, too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
The Cornhuskers have their offense in high gear. It's a draw. And he'll pick up one. It brings up 2nd and 9.
At this point of the game, the offense has the lead. The offensive coordinator knows they want to keep running the football. So he's going back, he's looking at his playlist, and he's saying, which runs work the best for me in this game? What can I lean on right here to make sure we win this one?
This offense could not have executed in this situation any better, just draining some time off the clock. And some room to work. Breaks into the open. All down at the 39-yard line, but he's got 15 yards on the play and a fresh set of downs. And the Huskers have it with a 1st and 10. Been showing them the run. Now they'll throw it. Catch in the middle. It's Hunter. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker.
This offense is not letting up, guys. They've got a lead here late, and they are still taking shots. They're still looking for explosive plays. This defense just has not had an answer here all game long.
Clock continues to run, and they'll be happy to wind it all the way down before they snap it. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
It's going to be tough sledding for the offense here. They're trying to ice this game by running the football and bleeding the clock. They've got a pretty good lead here late in the game, but the defense knows the run's coming, right? So they're going to be loading the line of scrimmage, getting stops like what they just did. Be interesting to see what the offense does on this next one.
Back to pass. It's Raiola. Snagged in the middle. It's Barney. They've got enough for the 1st down, and they're in the red zone at the 20. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. They're in the red zone, 1st and 10 from the 20. Motion from the wide receiver. Fly sweep coming. And he's very fortunate to get it back to the line of scrimmage, greeted by a sea of defenders. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Back to pass. Makes the grab on the left. They get him down, but this offense is set up 1st and goal from the 9. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. The Huskers trying to cash it in on 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. Wrestled down at the 8-yard line as they threaten deep in the red zone.
Man, a nice second effort by the back to break a tackle. But how about those defensive backs willing to come up, stick their face in the fan, and make a tackle?
Those are the best run defenses, too, right? It's not just D linemen and linebackers getting all the plays, but it's DBs that are willing to not just cover, but tackle backs in the open field.
Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Off the bootleg and rolling out. And the heat will get home, and the quarterback goes down at the 17.
And I want to be aggressive in these situations. When I got 2nd and goal, I want to go out and try to get that touchdown. But I do like how he didn't force the ball into coverage, didn't make a big mistake, throw a turnover in this area. You want to make sure you can guarantee points. You still got 3rd and goal coming up, and if you want to go for it on 4th.
On 3rd and goal, you can't hear yourself thinking here. Back to throw, it's Raiola. Into the end zone. It's incomplete, but here comes the flag, and I think it's going to be a 1st down. So given where the line of scrimmage was on that last play, the pass interference penalty in the end zone will put the ball at the 2. With the game in hand, the offense choosing to just have the quarterback take a knee. So with the late lead, they're ready to just drain the clock in victory formation. And with things in their favor on the scoreboard, the quarterback's favorite play in the playbook, the old kneel down from victory formation.